go. There's the recording. And yeah,
Hello.
welcome everyone to the Cucumber New Contributors Ensemble. I'm Matt Wynn. I'm here in freezing cold Nelson, BC. I'm in my shed and I forgot to turn the heating on. And I'm joined by Kate Dames in South Africa. Cape Town, South Africa.
Cape Town, South Africa.
Yes, Karla.
Hot
I can't remember
Cape
your
Town,
last.
South Africa.
Karla, I can't remember your last name.
Justin.
Justin, that's right. And you're in Brazil somewhere. Whereabouts?
Yes. In the south of Brazil, so it is pretty hot yet, even though I'm a little way away from Ecuador, but yeah.
What's the town called though,
hot.
where you are, or the city where you live?
Blumenau. I
Blumenau.
will type on chat. Blumenau. It's a city that has really have German culture influence.
Ah, so Blumen as in flowers.
Interesting.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Blumen is German for flowers.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, I grew up speaking German when I was little. And then Blaise, Pabon, and where are you now? Are you back on the East Coast? Are you in Boston?
Franklin, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, yeah. So welcome everyone. And let's just remind ourselves why we're here. Right, in 2017, GitHub surveyed over 10,000 open source contributors, and just 3% of them were women. We believe that our open source communities will be stronger, more vibrant, and more effective if there are more balanced representation of all the wonderful people in the world. And open source can provide huge benefits to people who participate, and we want those benefits to be available to all. But people need a place to start. So we hold this session each week for anyone who's new to contributing to open source, especially for people from groups who have historically been underrepresented in open source communities. Our goal is to provide a fun and welcoming environment where everyone can learn why and how to contribute to open source. And we use an ensemble programming format for these sessions, which means everyone who wants to gets to take a turn at the keyboard. And as we do that, we follow these principles. Safety over comfort. We aim for an environment where everyone can bring their whole self and express their needs fully, including their blue hair, even if that isn't always comfortable for us to talk about. Equity over efficiency. While it might seem faster to have the most experienced people do the work, we're here to give space to people who've traditionally been excluded from open source. And then exploration over perfection. So we're here to learn, and we're always discovering better ways to do things. We embrace experimentation and accept that what we do can never be perfect. All right. So that's the little introduction out of the way. So we were talking a little bit before the call started about what we're going to do this week. Should we have a little recap of that now for the viewers?
Yes, please.
I'm going to share my screen as well, just so that everybody's kind of seeing what I'm seeing. But we're using VS Code Live Share as well, so everyone can type in the same editor. So yeah, what were we saying, Kate? That basically, I think the goal for this week. So we were building the thing as a bot, and we're going to switch it over to being implemented as a GitHub Action instead, we think.
Correct.
But we don't really know.
So I guess we need to start with refactoring what we did last week, although I guess there isn't a lot that would change.
Yeah, so there was some code here in the step definitions that was starting to call Probot.
And we imported the... Yes. Actually, we did do a lot.
Yeah, and sadly, we will have to throw that away if this is the approach we decide to take.
Can we not revert to the previous version, maybe?
We maybe could. Let's have a look at what we did in that last commit. So call the chatbot from our scenario. Yeah, so we could indeed revert that commit. And in fact, that might be an interesting technique for doing what we want to do altogether. Because the thing is, all of the code that's in this repo was created by Probot's scaffolding tool, which just like squirts loads of files into your repository. And I think I shared it in the Slack channel. The template for a GitHub action is in the form of a Git repo, which would look like this. And we kind of need to do another sort of squirting lots of files into our repo kind of a thing, so that we end up with. So this is this is actually a template. See, so you can use in GitHub. You can go use this template, and it'll generate a repo for you that looks just like this. So we could either do that, and then copy our tests, our feature files over into the new repo. Or we could just sort of work our way through this and copy out the bits that we need to make it look like we need it to look. I wouldn't be against just doing it like that. I don't think GitHub Actions are very complicated.
Cool.
So we could probably get away with doing it like that, I think.
For me, at first, I may be wrong, but at first, using this template and then copying what we have and pasting the new repo in the new project, I believe maybe it's less prone to error.
Less problems.
Yeah, we may face less problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm easy really. I think any approach we can get there. I'm happy to go with whatever you all want to do really.
I'm also +1 for whatever you guys decide.
Right. Well, should we try creating a new repo with this one and see how we go? We'll have to, if we...
Okay,
one issue with having a new repo is it might make the VS Code stuff complicated because we're going to be jumping between two repos, which might make the kind of live sharing stuff a bit difficult. I mean, it might do anyway. We're probably going to end up... No, I don't know. Yeah. We're probably going to need to have a copy of this stuff somewhere so we can copy and paste files from it, I suppose.
So our goal for today, what we want to achieve is that we want to implement GitHub Actions in place of the bot.
Yeah, we want it to be a GitHub action instead of being a bot, yeah.
So if I say our mob goal is revert bot and implement actions, GitHub Actions, would that be enough or?
Yeah. So you're putting that into the mob timer, which I need to open up on the screen. Hold on, let me do that. Sorry, Blaise, what were you saying?
So the GitHub action and the bot both operate at more or less the same level of abstraction. So we could simply roll back to, before all of the bot stuff. And instead of calling from Probot, we would call it from GitHub Action.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we could even almost leave all the Probot clutter in this repo for now.
Or a branch.
Yeah, we could do it in a branch. And then we could clear out the unnecessary stuff later. Yeah. The main thing I'm interested in understanding, and like you were saying, Blaise, is TDD it, is understand how do you test a GitHub action? Like, what do these tests look like? So, what are they doing here to...
Matt, could you zoom in a little bit so we can...
You want me to have
Thanks for reminding us, Karla.
Bigger font size on the browser window, do you mean? Like this? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better for me.
Yeah.
And should we start the timer?
Yeah, I suppose I'd like to know what we're going to do. Sorry, Karla.
We are figuring out what we will do now, right? So just have that defined before starting the clock. I don't know. Because if I be the driver right now, I won't know what to do.
Well, just in zooming out, I guess, from the bigger picture, a GitHub action is essentially a feature that takes some authentication and then responds to an event. So presumably we could write a feature file called GitHub action.feature and then say something, then we could have a scenario where the authentication works. And so we would say, we would have to do something that evidences authentication.
So I don't know whether we need to change much about this at all, other than like we say right now when the bot runs on the repo.
Right.
What we probably
Yeah, there
want
you
to
go.
say instead is when the
action.
when the action runs, and that's probably all we want to change, really. I think.
So should we start?
Should we start with that?
Sure.
Do you want to revert this commit where we did this change here with the step definitions? Because I kind of think that we're right that we just don't want that change, and that might be a good thing to do as well. Do you all have read write access
because
to the console?
You would still have access to the code if you want to copy it.
Yes, Kate.
If we want to copy it.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah,
so you can all type in the console now as well. So I think anybody should be able to drive and do Git commands and all that good stuff. So.
Okay.
And is the VS Code window font big enough, Karla?
I think it is. I can read it just fine.
Okay. Just trying to get this zoom window in the right place. You all can't see it, but it keeps moving it.
Do you know that there's a nice little app in Zoom that has a timer? So it looks like Matt and Kate and Karla. It's like a person, but it's a timer, so you can see the timer there.
So we can use that instead of the mob timer potentially.
I'm thinking we should maybe experiment with it at a stage to see whether it works or not.
Yeah. Okay, well, should we
Because it's just a timer.
Yeah. Do you want to do that today or another time?
No, I didn't actually look at I looked at different timers and I tried one on Hangouts because I more use Hangouts at this stage.
Yeah.
So no.
Okay, well, so it says I'm the navigator and Karla, you're the driver. Should we start? Are we ready?
Yes. Because I manipulated in the back end.
Oh, did you now?
Of course, I was the driver.
So Matt, you just went back one commit, right?
Well, we haven't yet, but we could do that. So you know how to do that,
Yes,
Karla?
let's do that.
Do you know how to do that with Git commands?
No, I don't know. I don't remember if I did it before.
Well, it's quite easy to do. So we're stuck in Git log here right now. So you need to press Q to get out of the log of previous commits. Just press the Q key on your keyboard. Should get you out.
So you ran a command there for Git. It was git log, right?
Yeah.
Just to get the history of commits that we had in that branch that.
Yeah, exactly. So we can see the commits we've been making, and this last one here, and that's the ref of the last commit that we made. And I think that's the one that we want to revert. I don't think.
I took the liberty of pasting the command into the chat.
Oh, thanks.
Well, thank you,
Thank you.
So git checkout and the commit ID, right? Is that it?
Oh, so I have a different way of doing it.
Yes, there's a different way. There is a different way.
Which to be honest I prefer. So could I show you my way, Blaise?
Yes, of course.
So if you if you press Q, Karla,
only because you're the navigator.
Yeah. Well, I know both of the ways, and I know what Blaise is going to do. But Blaise, I think you'll like this one. So if you do, Karla, if you do git revert, and then space, and then head, which you should type in capital letters. You don't have to on a Mac, but it's good practice to type capital letters because on Linux it gets confused if you don't. So yeah, do that. So head just means the last commit. And revert means make me a new commit that undoes this commit. So press enter now. Okay, and you can just save this. Or if you wanted to, you could write some extra stuff below this reverts commit, blah, 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 that says we've decided not to use Probot, but use a GitHub Action instead.
What I did, oh my god.
You're in Vim.
What's happening?
You're in Vim. press I, the key I on your keyboard. Right, now you can use kind of normal like cursor keys to move around like a normal editor. There you go. Oh, except you can't enter, you can't add new lines. So go to maybe don't worry about it. Do you want to learn Vim or not?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, that's what I can do to solve it. I'm kind of lost here.
Move up to just below the where it says this. So like kind of line 4 there. Yeah. Up two. Right, and then maybe down one more.
Down
and
one
here we
more?
can write, we've decided to use a GitHub Action instead of Probot.
Why don't we decided to use Git Actions.
Yeah, instead of
What?
Instead of
the bot.
Probot. Probot.
Robot?
It's P. It starts with for some reason it's pro. It's a professional bot.
Probot?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So
Do I
if you
press enter right now?
no, so pressing enter probably won't do anything because you're in Vim. You need to press escape. And the little insert, did you notice the little insert mode thing down here disappeared? And now you're going to press colon, you know, the two dots above each other?
Yes.
Yeah. And then X. Did you press X?
Oops.
X, enter. All right.
Okay.
So what we've got now in the Git history, if I'll just do this just to show you, is we've got the commit where we call the bot from our scenario, 9C3161, but then we've got another commit above it next, which just undoes that one. So we've kind of kept, because if we'd have done the Git checkout, it would have taken us back in history, but we would have had to sort of wipe away the history that we'd ever done that. But what this does is just creates a new piece of history that says, oh, we don't want to do that anymore. See what I mean? It's nice, isn't it, Blaise? Yeah. All right. So how about what we do now is we just review the feature file, given the context that we're not doing Probot anymore.
So we have here when the bot runs on the repo. So we will change this action.
Yeah. So how about we say when the action runs instead? Or can we think of a more abstract way of phrasing it that would have stayed true whether it was a bot or a GitHub action?
When the let me think.
When the schedule, let's see.
Yeah, go on, Blaise. I think you were getting on something
Yes.
there.
Schedule, when the schedule
Job. Yes.
or when. Actually, I guess it's when the job runs on a schedule, or when the job is scheduled to run.
Perfect.
When the job is scheduled to run.
Does that sound a little bit like we've scheduled it for the future? Or is that...
The last bit, you shouldn't have deleted, Karla, I think, on the repo. I think that was still fine.
I'm sorry, can you repeat, Kate?
Can you Control Z quickly to see what was there?
It was something like that when the bot runs on the
repo.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And
how about this?
But we are changing the line 14.
When the
so it can still run on the repo.
Okay, we're changing turns now. So Karla, you have to get your hands off the keyboard. And Kate, it's your turn to drive. But Karla, you're navigator.
Oh, okay. So we are changing line 14. And the line 14 was similar to line 21. And we are trying to improve based that we are now using Git Actions, right? Blaise, you were about to suggest something, but I didn't hear. What was your suggestion?
Well, I was going to ask Matt what he thought of. I just put in a modified example in the chat. When the schedule triggers the task, because he was concerned about it sounding like it was taking place in the future or something.
Yeah, I think this is fine, though. I think this is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thanks, Blaise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I added on the repo back. Is that okay?
Yeah. Although I wonder if it should be on the org actually, because it doesn't. It should run for all of the repos, I think. Not.
On the org like that.
Yeah. Well, so you could call it organization. That's short, right? That's short for organization, because GitHub has organizations. Cucumber is an organization, not just one repo. So that was actually a mistake when we wrote it, because it should run for the whole org rather than. Yeah, brilliant.
Should we say GitHub organization? Because organization can mean a lot of things. It might be confusing.
Yeah.
The GitHub organization. Should we define which organization? Like, it's GitHub Cucumber organization, or is it necessary?
Well, we could definitely have like given a GitHub organization called Cucumber or something. Yeah, that could be the first given step. We've actually sort of elided that in the way we've told the story in the scenario. Yeah.
So what must I type? A GitHub organization?
Yeah, and give it a name.
Called?
Or you could just put it in quotes. Sometimes that's another way of doing it. So just say a GitHub organization Cucumber. Tend to use like double quotes, Kate. If you use double quotes, it'll help with the step matching stuff.
Okay, like that.
Yeah, and then we probably don't need to say GitHub Online 15, I guess, because we've said GitHub Organization Online 12. I agree. I like that.
Okay, we should try to execute the tests to see, or already.
Good idea.
Yeah, good idea. We're in a state of flux right now, aren't we? Because we've only changed one of the scenarios.
But we've also reverted, and we haven't tested it to see where we were.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like most things are matching. We've got 2 undefined steps right now, which is kind of what we'd expect, right? If I scroll it up, we can see that the job is scheduled to run on the organization. Well, we knew that one wasn't going to match because that's new.
We just created.
And given a user, blah. Oh, that's interesting. So it thinks GitHub is a user because it's got that capitalization.
Oh.
That's all right. That's fine. So what do you want to do? Do you want to implement this step definition now and then?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm navigating.
Should I make the small letters GitHub, or should I leave it capital
fine.
letters?
It's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. Just when we do put this in, we won't use the curly braces here. We'll just type GitHub literally.
GitHub.
And then
Yeah, I think we can start the step definition for given a GitHub organization Cucumber. So where is the file for our step definitions there? Could you go there, Kate, please?
Sorry, where? Kate. Am I in the right place?
Let me see. Yeah, I think you are, Kate.
Yeah. So I think we can maybe copy the output for given there in the terminal.
Do you want me to do that?
Oh,
just put it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
you can do it.
So I'll grab that there and I'll paste it right in here at the top.
Yeah. So I think now we need to change. We have user. Oh, could we actually. Let me 1 second. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay. So we could go back to the step definition, and we are saying there. Where is our step definition that we just
I put it in
listed?
right at the top, line 15. It should be.
Line 15, yeah. So a user has right access to the,
You're seeing something different on line 15 to what I'm seeing, Karla.
Yes, I'm not
Yeah.
seeing
Do you
what
want to
I'm
maybe?
expecting to see.
Can I show you where I am?
Yes.
Yes.
Hang on, I'm not following. I think this is maybe VS Code glitching. So it should be here.
Oh, I found you now. I start to follow Matt.
Okay.
You see it?
Got it.
Uh,
Yes.
you got it?
Okay, I'm going back to following Kate. Oh, Kate's only got 30 seconds left. That was short.
So we have here 2 parameters on our given, user and string. And I believe, let's see if you agree, but I think we can remove user and type it GitHub. Oh, great. So could you remove there? Yes. Remove the comma also. And in the beginning, we have given a user. So remove user and type it GitHub. I believe you can also remove these symbols also.
Yeah, the curly braces.
Curly braces. Yeah.
I think they're, strictly speaking, they're called brackets. And then the thing that I always think of as brackets is actually called parentheses. The round ones are called parentheses, and these are called brackets. I think it's a bit of
So,
trivia for you there.
do you think that we need to keep cucumber, the word cucumber, as a parameter? I don't think so, but I don't see any situation where we will use another
It's a
value.
prerequisite, really. So
Yeah, it's quite nice
But
to
the
have it
timer
not be
when-
hard coded, though. You know, it's quite nice to have it
Yes,
not be
true.
hard coded and just passed in from the scenario. So it's probably fine
Oh,
to leave it
okay.
as a string. Should we run the test and see what it did?
Blaise is now the driver, and I am the navigator. Be
Oh,
mercy
okay.
on your souls. So yes, let's run the tests. Blaise.
Let's see here.
I broke it.
505. Let's see.
What if we did
What?
wrong?
There's no problems.
All
So-
undefined. Scroll up, Kate, because this is usually when there's a TypeScript compilation error. It does this.
Well, Blaise.
Oh, sorry, Blaise. Scroll.
Oh, am I sharing a screen? No.
Oh, you can't.
You
can't
are
scroll
supposed
up. I'll
to
scroll up.
be-
Here we go. So
Let's follow you.
string is defined, but
follow
its
me.
value is never read. That's the error we've got.
Oh,
So it's because we've grabbed the cucumber string, but we're not doing anything with it. Do you remember with the pattern we did in the other ones when we had that error?
also log.
Yeah. That's what we can do.
So do you know what to do, Blaise?
Do I go over to the steps? Oh no, to this one, right?
Yes, to the step definition.
And then organization.
Matt, what?
Oh, here we have it hardwired. That's the problem, isn't it? Given a GitHub organization.
Blaise, I don't know if you can see on the screen share, but we've got a TypeScript compilation error.
Oh, I
on
didn't see that. Okay.
steps
So I need to go
TS
to
line
steps.ts.
15. So it's
Got it.
here is
Yeah.
where the error is coming from.
Got it.
String is declared, but its value is never read.
If you follow, oh yeah, Blaise found the steps definition.
So it's never read. Oh, that's right.
Well, I think
Yes, I remember now. Yes, we did we entered, we did like a print or something like
That's
that,
right.
right?
Yeah, it's like on line
also
24.
don't log. I think it's something similar to what we have in the line 24.
Yes.
Oh, here it is. This is what we do.
Maybe we could rename string to
Organization? No.
yeah.
No. Yes, I guess.
Inside the parentheses function, we need to name the parameter also, right?
And on line 18, yes. And then on line 15. So in function, organization, comma, string.
Oh, I see. Function.
Is the Matt and Karla, is the
I see. No, here
first...
it is. This is my problem.
Yeah, there you go. Lovely.
Fixed.
And I think string in between the brackets of given needs to be renamed from string to organization also, right?
Between the brackets.
In the line 15.
On line 15?
We have
so given a GitHub organization string.
I think that's fine. You've just got to type. That's fine.
Why is it?
That's all fine. That looks good to me.
So should we run the tests?
The test will tell us if it's really all fine.
Oh, you mean this thing is?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Let's run the
Oh
test.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine because it's just capturing
a
thing. String is a built-in parameter type in Cucumber that just captures anything in quotes.
Oh, this is better.
Yeah, we have only one undefined now, so.
So we are making progress.
We are making progress.
So should we go back? There's still a minute and a half of me left, and I feel more comfortable on the feature file, if that's okay with the rest of you. Otherwise, Matt and Karla, you can jump in and say what we should do, but change the other bot instances to that same.
Yeah, that seems like a good strategy to me, Kate. Yep.
So in the feature file, Blaise.
Okay. Sorry, I was just trying to make it look like the other stuff. So,
that's good.
By the way, I have a question. Do we want to format this? What's the better way to format it? Do we want it like that, given?
Matt?
Do you see how this is?
I would just let Prettier reformat it for you. So
okay, fair enough.
If you go to
got it.
In your VS Code, you can do on Mac it's Command-Shift-P, and then you say format document, and it should just reformat it. Mine does it on save, so I can do it. Well, it's gone a bit messy for me. It looks a bit broken now on the one around line 23. I'm not sure what's happened there. Does that look broken to everybody else?
It doesn't read properly.
Yeah, this looks like it's got...
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was trying to make it look... So it should
function.
Maybe we need a little bit of Control Z to just repair what's happened on line 22, 23.
Sure.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well,
No,
that's not quite
Is that
right
the way
for
you
me
like it to
yet.
be?
more. There's still a A and a U before that that
Yeah.
shouldn't be there.
Oh, wait a minute. That might be a refresh thing, because let me see. What's going what, let me see.
There should be something like a user or a team.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
it doesn't
was
look like that on the real.
Oh,
On my
okay.
screen, it doesn't look like that.
It's so annoying that VS Code's still this flaky. It's really good, just not perfect.
Well, what is?
Yeah.
We are here. What are our values again?
I
To learn
know.
over
I know.
perfection.
It's just
But this
frustrating.
Yeah,
is
fair enough.
annoying
True.
because
No, that's true. That's true. So
yeah.
it doesn't look like that. It looks much better in my screen.
okay, I noticed there's two problems, but the round is up. So Blaise, you are now the navigator and Matt is the driver.
All right. Well, I think I can repair this by looking at the Git diff. So I'm going to go over to Git
Yes.
and see what have we changed in this file. And it used to say all of that stuff. So I'm going to copy that, bring it back into this file, and then delete that line. And do you watch this, Blaise? Look.
Yep.
Are you watching on my screen share?
Yes, I am.
If I've sort of messed up the formatting,
Yes.
when I save, ta-da, it just tidies it all up. Or if I try and put it all on one line, when I save, it breaks it all up. So it's
Oh,
like,
I see.
it's
Okay,
got
so
a
the
kind of
preferred
like,
way is that. I see. Okay.
so we should do that in between sessions. Is set up your VS Code so it does that for you as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, what would you like me to do next? I think Kate was talking about.
There's no
using this
problems
step.
anymore, so that doesn't matter. Blaise, all up to you. I suggested that we go back to the feature file and clean up the rest of the bot.
So should we just replace all of the bot statements with this one here? The job is scheduled to run on the
Job. Yeah.
organization.
Yeah.
Oops.
So the. Oh. Oh, I see. Right. The when. Okay. Right.
And should we add the, given a scenario, that first one that we added to all the other ones as well, or not?
I was thinking that, Kate. Yes, we do need to do that if we think that's.
Or should we make it like, didn't you say there's something like a prerequisite where if it's a rule, then you say.
Well, we can have it in a background.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, background.
So we can do that. And that then applies it to all of the scenarios. What do we think of that? Because it's really a choice to us as to what we think reads better. We can either duplicate that step across these 5 scenarios, or we can have it up in a background.
Oh, I think we should be in a background.
Yeah.
Because then it's just set once, and
Yeah.
Okay. Shall I run the
Well,
test?
if the navigator says that's the way to go, then that's the way we go.
Yeah.
Blaise's benevolent dictatorship.
Yeah, exactly.
For
Okay.
only 4 more minutes, so enjoy it.
So we've got undefined from this new step that we're using everywhere. The job is scheduled to run on the organization is not matching.
When the job is scheduled to run. Oh,
So this is
there's no
undefined.
step
'cause it's
defined?
new.
Is that?
Yeah.
Job is undefined, implement with the following snippet. Oh, I see. So we need to go over to steps. And then I guess we just paste. Oh,
we could
the
take
bot
this
runs on the
one.
repo.
We could
So
just
this now we
rename
have to
this one, right?
search for.
Should
I wonder
just
if there's
change
like a
this one?
Cucumber plugin for Visual Studio that would then go over to the steps and update the steps to match the.
Not yet, but Aslak is working on it. There is something happening about that. So if I just change this one,
Blaise.
does it work now?
Yes. Yes, right?
Much better. Oh, fabulous.
Okay.
Wow.
Shall I make a commit?
I think so.
I just have one request.
What is it, Karla?
To make everything similar with the same pattern.
Formatting.
Could
Oh,
we in the first given when we say a GitHub organization we say string, but for all the others we use the name of the parameter.
Yeah.
On the set definition, Matt.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you want to make a organization parameter as well, a parameter type.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that we'll make it similar to the other methods.
Could we maybe do that in a separate commit though? Like
Yes,
as a
let's do a
refactoring.
separate
Oh
commit.
yes.
Because of the time today is yeah.
Well, it's just always good to make small commits, and we've made some progress here. So
Yeah.
I'd just like to commit
Because
that.
there's probably only one round left in any case.
So to do write scenarios.
In the context. Get sin. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say it. This is my brain fog. Help me.
Well, what I would say is replace the Probot with GitHub Actions.
But we haven't replaced
I
Probot
don't-
with GitHub Actions.
No, we haven't. Yeah,
Only in the
it's really-
scenarios.
It's really more like
I guess I could just say that in the scenarios.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. We did do that. We did replace the word bot with replace.
Well,
we're
we
working
didn't really in
towards
all the
that.
No, we
scenarios.
didn't. We didn't. What we did was we essentially made it
started.
more general. Well, what we did ultimately was we replaced the word bot with task or job in anticipation of using a GitHub action.
That's more accurate. And we didn't finish it. We only liked it the first one.
No, we have done all of them, Kate.
Oh,
Yeah, we have. I must have done that so fast you missed it.
It was a search and replace. Yeah, it was. He did it pretty quickly.
And I'm going to try and find the thing where I've got all of your. Here we go. So that's 2 of you. Is there one that's got more?
Didn't we also?
I don't know if I've got one with Karla in it.
We also defined parameter types for organization.
yes.
So we replaced the word bot.
No, we haven't done that yet.
Oh, we
We
haven't
talked
done that
about
yet.
doing it, but we haven't done it.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. That's our commit.
How cool was it to add the co-authors?
That was
Yeah.
just like-
Yeah.
It works nicely now that everyone's got some commits in the repo.
It's so much easier. And look at that perfect timing. The timer went. And now Matt is the navigator and Karla is the driver.
Okay. So Karla, you wanted to replace this organization thing. Do you know, I would like to
Yeah.
put it on the back burner because I would like to try and make this a GitHub action for real. So
Okay.
I would like us to keep that on our little refactoring list. And let's try and do something brave. So, because I've been reading the code for how we do it. And if you go to source index ts, sorry. I'm following you now. And this is all this Probot stuff. So let's just delete all of this. Just like Control A, delete. Boom.
Oh, that's brave.
Okay. And then what we need to do here is so in this file we would run the job. So we're going to need another function that runs the job. So what does this thing do? It's like retire inactive contributors.
Right.
That's what it does. I'm gonna just follow the thing a little bit more from this one. Let's define a function in here called
I'm not that used to TypeScript, so
Yeah,
I'm doing
that's
something
it.
wrong.
That's perfect. Except it's an async function, so call it async function run. Async. Yeah, only one S in async. Async function run, and then you have like open close brackets. Yeah, and then a colon because you need to say that's perfect, and then a colon after the brackets because it's TypeScript, so we have to say what type it returns. Colon?
Here or
No, after the after the a colon, so 2 dots.
Weren't there examples that you can just copy it from?
Yeah, but it's, to be honest, I think it'll be okay to do it like this. I think it'll be all right.
And no comma.
Yeah, no need for the comma, Karla.
I removed the comma already.
Oh
Okay.
god. Okay, I'll remove it to be sure because it's not come up. It's not. I think I've got like the main copy of the file here, haven't I? So after the colon, you want promise of void. So a capital P promise. Yeah, and then so when you say promise of void, you use like angly brackets after the promise.
I don't know what's angry.
I'm going to show you.
This.
Like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And then we need to like open the function. So use curly braces.
Curly, let me find here. Sorry, 1 second. I'm not finding my. Oh my god, where is it? Oh, I found.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And then inside of that function, so let's call our real thing. So let's call a function. Let's imagine there's a function called retire inactive contributors. So just let's call that function inside of this one. Does that make sense?
We are creating the name of the function, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So just call a function. Let's imagine there's a function called retire inactive contributors.
Retire.
And you'd use camel case. So like instead of underscores, use a capital I for inactive. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and contributors is with an O, not an E, I think. Sorry to be a nitpicker.
Oh, where?
So contributors. There we go. That's it. And then just like open close brackets. Yeah. And in front of where we call retire inactive contributors, you need to use await because it's probably going to be an asynchronous function. So no, in front of the call. So on the first thing you say on line 2 would be await. So it's like await retire inactive contributors. That's it. Then we don't need it in the middle on line 3. And then on line 6, we're going to call the function run. So so right at the very bottom, or on line 4 now, or 5, yeah, I'm going to call the function run. So run open close brackets. Okay. So this is what we need to make it a GitHub action, is we need to have this sort of entry point, this run entry point. But then actually our function is going to be in a separate file. So if you press, what happens if you hover over this function that doesn't exist and press quick fix? What does it let you do? What does it offer to let you do?
Cannot find.
Because it says it's got
Cannot
no.
find.
Yeah. And does it offer to let you add a missing function?
Add missing function.
There we go.
Yep.
All right. And then if you right click that file and do refactor, that function, retire inactive contributors, and do refactor, does it have move to new file? Can you refactor the retire inactive contributors function?
Let me see. Refactor. I'm not finding the option.
Let me show you on my screen. So if I do
Yeah.
refactor, if I right click the function, I get refactor here. So it's, for me, it's Control Shift R. And then that brings me up a little menu. Can you do that?
Move to a new file, third option.
Can you do that, Karla? Do you get that? What I see?
Now it changed. Now it's Kate is the driver. So
Yeah.
Just finish, because we are out of time in any case. So I guess it's fine if we just finish it and do the commit, or what do you think?
it's okay. I'm trying to see here. I don't have the option here. I have go to definition, go to type definition, go to implementation. I don't see the refactor here.
Do you not? So it's not like, can you see on my screen here, like down here somewhere?
So just click the button, Matt.
Oh, okay.
Yes, please, Matt.
All right. So there we go. So it's moved it to a new file. And
it's magic.
I don't understand how it's importing it, but anyway. So what we want to do, just the very last thing, is we want to call this function from that step. So where we do when the job is scheduled to run on the organization, we want to call that retire inactive contributors thing. I'd really love to just have a loop of doing that, and then we're kind of we're back to where we were last week, but with a GitHub Action rather than with a.
Okay. So I can drive.
And I have no experience with, so please, Matt, if you could help navigate.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, but do you understand what we're trying to do, Karla? Is we want to try. I know I'm still probably everybody's following me, aren't we? We should follow Kate now. Okay. In that step that does the when the job is scheduled to run on the organization, like which is on line 59 in this file, Kate. This is the kind of the action step, right, where we do something. We want to call that function retire inactive contributors from in here, because that's where we're going to do the work. That is our job,
right?
And all we did with that silly thing we did with the run function is just the kind of like entry point that you need to provide for GitHub Actions.
What was it called again?
Retire inactive contributors.
Not here.
So you might find it, Kate, now that you've got it there. If you do the quick fix on it, it might ask you if you want to import it.
How do I do that again? Control / or control dot?
It's not noticing it. Yeah, it's control dot or command dot on a Mac. Yeah, I'm not finding it though. It's not finding it for me.
No code.
No. So we might have.
But it's not called anywhere. So how does it know it exists? Well, there's a problem as well.
We've implemented it on in the source directory, so I'm actually surprised VS Code doesn't know about it yet. It might be
safe.
I think you have to install the JavaScript extension into your Microsoft's JavaScript and TypeScript.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But it's not recognizing it on mine, which does it anyway. It doesn't matter. It's easy enough to do. Am I okay to just keep navigating, Karla?
Yes, please.
All right. So you could delete line 62, Kate, because we don't need it now. The return pending bit. And if you go up to the top of this file, and you see how you've got import given when then from Cucumber, do import retire existing contributors. From, oh, it's not existing, is it? Sorry.
It's inactive, I think.
Sorry. from, and then you're just going to do a relative path. So it's going to be dot slash src slash, and then retire, and hopefully it'll complete it for you. Is it giving you a completion?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Kate may
Yes.
need
You
to
press
install.
Let's
tab.
see.
Oh,
There you
go.
go.
Okay.
Okay, save that. Ah, right. So what we forgot to do, it's complaining it's not a module. Did you see that?
Oh.
Yes.
It says it's not a module. It's got red on it. So we just need to do one quick thing. So if you hop over to that file, Kate, if you can control click on the path to it, it should take you there. Yeah. And then just in front of where it says function, you want to say export. So you have to export the function so that it's public for other people to import. There we go.
Cannot find name retire active contributors.
Retire
Did I
inactive contributors.
Inactive.
So this all looks good in this file now. So do you want to take us back to the steps file and see what it says now?
Retire inactive. Oh.
So maybe what you need
This
to
is
do
what
is
it's-
put it around, put curly braces around it. That's probably what we need. There we go. Now I'm going to do the
Still a
save thing to
problem.
just reformat it.
Really?
Cannot find name retire inactive contributors.
Have we mistyped it somehow?
I think so. I think it's brackets
Oh
or
no, that's right. No, okay. So this is in the index function here. This last problem.
Oh, so we have to import it then.
Oh,
Yes,
we
we
need-
do.
Yeah.
And I think this time it might. Yeah, it does let you. If you do
Add
the.
import. Yeah.
Are you? Where are you, Kate? Are you with us?
I am here.
Yeah. So that's all
I
looking
am
good in this
on
file now.
steps.ts.
This is all looking good in here now, I think.
Well, they still cannot find. There's still a problem on my. Yes.
It's so I think it just hasn't caught up because this my ID is fine with it now with the changes.
Do you want to
you've made.
press save? I did, but maybe you've got superpowers.
I don't know. I have the original copy of all of the files and it's looking good here. What you could try doing is running the tests.
Mm.
Do you want to try doing that in the terminal?
Let me try doing that.
Maybe you could close this steps.ts file and reopen it and see if it kind of refreshes it.
Wait, error.
So it's
5
not getting past the
pending.
given step because that's got a pending in it. So we're not going to get to see it run this function. But it's looking good, Kate. This is good. Did you close and reopen steps.ts?
Yes.
And is it still showing you a name not found error? Or is
There's
it
still
okay?
a problem. Yes.
I'd like to see your
And
screen really.
now there is 2. There are 2.
In the problems view in your VS Code.
It's the path that it's complaining about. There's like a curly bracket and a 0 in front of the SRC. I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah, that's another one of these glitches, I think. Because if you look at the
Yep.
Zoom screen share, you'll see how it looks on my screen. And it's fine. Do you see that?
Yes. Mine looks exactly the same, so I don't know what it's complaining about.
Did you try closing steps.ts and reopening it?
Yes, I can try again. Save, open, and the problems are still there. And do I need to refresh it somehow? It will just go away by itself, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I do think it's got something to do with the path.
Is it everybody else's VS Code happy with this path?
Hang on a second. My
It's
input
okay.
is gone.
It's gone now.
Wasn't there an import at the beginning that I added? Import in tests. Where did I add the?
It's there, the line 3, right? Now,
I can't see
This
it.
one, can you see this line here, Kate? Kate, can you share your screen?
Let me share my screen. Maybe I'm just.
So this is the actual, this is where the actual function is that we're trying to import everywhere. Yeah. And then in
didn't
steps
I?
TS,
What is
yeah,
this component?
Your steps TS looks really different. It's got a line missing. Yeah. Can you close
It
this?
was there,
Yeah.
and then I closed it and opened it, and now it's gone.
Can you close it again, because that's really.
And why is this
confusing.
one complaining? Jeez.
Close that one too. Is TS one.
Yes, close
And
steps
open
TS on
TS.
the right hand side there, Kate. Yeah, that one. Yeah. And then reopen it.
I'm just pressing.
Maybe, I don't know, double click it. What do you do? Whoa! It still doesn't know what it looks like. Come on, VS Code.
But there has been updates, so I'm wondering, because it was the first time that it asked me whether I want to use VS Code and not the web.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's not causing some other conflict. But it shouldn't do that, because if it looks like that on your screen, what does your screen look like?
So, where's my Zoom button for share screen? Yeah. Looks like that. There's the line of code that you added.
Yes, that's what I added.
know.
I typed it myself. Otherwise,
And it's there. It's really there.
I didn't.
It's really there, but it just isn't
And if you
appearing in
press
your
save,
view. What if I change it, right? What if I'm remove that other line? Does that update on yours?
I'm just closing it again. And I'm trying to. Nope.
What about if I delete the line and then add it again?
Nothing's happening here.
What if you
that's
refresh
weird.
your browser?
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
a good
everyone.
idea.
Karla,
I gotta go.
any brief thoughts for
Yeah.
a retrospective from you before you run?
I just enjoyed seeing you guys and getting to learn. I'm pretty excited to learn about GitHub Actions. I have never worked with it before. So if everything works out, next week I'll be here.
Yeah, great.
I always try to be here, okay? Just let me know.
Great.
Sometimes life gets in the way and I need to give attention to other things, but I really enjoy being here. Thank you so much for your patience, your time.
Thanks for being here, Karla. It was good to have your coding experience. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Have you figured it out,
Bye.
Kate?
Nope. I've been quickly adding a sticky note on the board, on the retrospective board.
Should we jump and do that retro? We've got like 5 minutes.
Well,
of
do you
time.
want to finish this commit?
I should make a commit. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because we can't really just leave it in the middle, I guess.
Oh, sorry, just one sec. What's up, love?
Someone shut the garage door and left the cord and put the cord on the inside.
Oh no!
So I can't.
Can you get your hands underneath it at the front?
No, not really.
I haven't got the keys, but they are hanging up in the where the jackets hang up upstairs, just on the right hand side. All right, love.
Put my hand under first.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
See you in a minute. Right. Yeah, I was going to make a commit, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then, so what have we done? We have started.
Revert previous Probot commit, which you obviously don't have to do. Review the feature file is what I've written down so far. And updated the steps definitions.
Well, I think the thing we did in this one is we started to add the entry point for GitHub Actions. That was where we were going. So I'm going to commit that and push it. Oh. So Blaise, did you get the syncing issues on your screen or not?
I think so, but not. I think I also installed the TypeScript and refreshed the page. So let's see. Yes, I got the sync. Yes, I did.
Because Kate, maybe you and I could have a one-on-one session in between times to try and set up your local environment so you've got the full like VS Code program rather than running it in the browser. Because
I've got it on my machine.
Have you?
I do. I just never use it because the link usually took me to the web version.
Yeah.
And I was scared opening it in mine because I've got different things like I've got different apps installed there. So I was wondering whether that might. So yes, we can maybe try it out to see whether, because that's not something I can do on my own. I need a sharing.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that with you next week.
I would prefer to actually use VS Code rather than the web.
Yeah. Well, let's give that a go. Let's see if we can find some time next week if you want.
Okay.
My kids are on spring break next week. And in fact, next Friday is going to be impossible for me to make next Friday because I am going to be driving to Vancouver, I think. So
well, should we could still, I think, we could figure out what needs to be done next and we could give it a shot.
That would be awesome.
Sure.
Yeah.
And maybe when Matt comes back, everything is a mess and we have to start over again, or
possibly
everything is just working and we can just say like, get the champagne.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers. Yeah.
Or maybe somewhere in the middle between those two extremes.
Possibly.
Probably.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Well, do you want to do a quick retro? Have you two got time?
Yes. So I've got the board and I actually updated it a little bit from the previous, because I was thinking that it would make sense to spend time on one question, which was, yes, I modified it a little bit because I like doing that. I just added a frame and at the top is kind of like a little roadmap of what we're doing and the yellow one is what we're busy with. If you go right.
Oh, right. Sorry. So over here is like what we're doing at the moment.
So yes, the more right.
Oh.
Oh.
Yes,
yeah, right. Okay.
There. So that's your yak map.
Oh yeah, we never updated that this week, did we?
I added those to the pink and the orange line. But I'm just telling you, and then the top. Yeah, there I didn't change anything.
Yeah.
And then I added this, which is my logic, which tells me what actually we did. And the yellow is where we are. And then we still need to do that. And I just thought, I don't know what's next. So I just put deploy because we have to deploy.
That looks pretty, and then a manual test would be the kind of like the next step. Yeah.
Very nice.
I would, yes, I was wondering, but yes, okay. But in any case, that's just to that you can recognize now because I always like to play around on the board and do things. And then I added a retro for this week.
So that's down here.
At the bottom. Yes.
25th of February.
One more.
Oh, that's one.
That was last week where we didn't really have one and you just set that task and you've done it.
Yeah.
So here I modified it a little, so it's not the what was good and what can be better. I thought we could just focus on what could we have done to prevent having to do all that Probot work and then having to do it over again, or not over again, but like revert it.
Well,
so the question is, if you could travel back in time and start all over again, knowing what we know now, what would have been useful so that we got to that answer earlier rather than doing the work and not having to redo it?
Okay. I think and I'll just answer because I think Matt's in the middle of doing something. So I'll take. I think that what we could have done is when we were describing the features, we conflated the running of the job with the device that was going to run it, so to speak. In other words, we immediately went to, oh, this is going to be a bot, right? Rather
The
than
solution.
saying, right. We went to the implement. We were too tightly coupled to the implementation. So instead of saying, the essence of the feature is the inactivation or reinstating of users, we conceived of the feature as we're going to build a bot, and it's going to do this. Whereas I think now we're focused more on the activity, and then we can more easily bind that activity to a scheduled event, or possibly in a different context, a bot or CI/CD or whatever. GitHub Action in this case. That's all.
I agree. So when in the process, Matt, what do you think?
Well, I sort of slightly reject the question because I think that this happens sometimes. You go down a route, you discover it's a dead end, and then you have to backtrack out. And I think that's just like a natural part of doing the work. I think one thing that we could have done differently is to have just focused on implement, and we still could do this, is just focused on implementing the logic of what's in the scenarios without bringing in any frameworks, Probot, GitHub Actions, anything. Just build a function that can do this logic, and then think about how do we connect that into the real world. And I mean, I'm sort of juggling this all the time because I'm trying to think about how do we make this process straightforward for everybody to follow along with.
I loved it, and I think this is super useful, and I think that the fact that we did the bot and now we're doing it a different way, to me, is awesome. I think it's an excellent learning opportunity. That's why I think this is a useful question, because this happens frequently. So I see it as a positive.
Yeah, I suppose the thing that I can see that I could do differently is do more sort of scouting ahead for the ensemble. So I've
Twitch stuff, for example.
What's that, Blaise?
Twitch, like the Twitch setup and things like
Well,
that.
no, I more mean in terms of the problem that we're solving together, because I'm pretty much turning up with as much upfront knowledge about what we should do this week as everybody else. But I could do a bit more research in between and look at the options and maybe explore doing some of them a bit more, so that when we actually come to do the implementation together, I've got a bit more clarity and confidence about what's the right way to go with things like, should we use Probot or GitHub Actions? Like, I could have researched that myself more in between sessions, and then we wouldn't have sort of bumped into it together.
Well, I like bumping into it, because then you learn how to revert and what's the best course of action and how to reuse the code. And to me, that's the best way to see the value of the scenarios, because pretty much what we did in this session was strengthen the scenarios. We didn't have the organization, and would we have done that if we didn't go this route? So to me, I think I don't mind the way we did it.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking if we could do it over again, not wanting to do it over again, just what can we learn? How can we get better at it? And yes, it's a good lesson, and I do it all the time. We'll jump to the solution. This is the Probot. Let's implement the Probot, and you've got it in your mind. And I think that is a problem that we all have. Not a problem. I think it's nature.
Yeah, I agree. One other thing we could have done and we could still do, is there's a technique you may or may not know about. It's called architectural decision records,
Oh, yes.
ADRs. And
That's brilliant.
ADRs are like a really simple way of, because if you kind of think about the old school way we used to build software when it was like a bridge, where we thought about software projects like construction projects, somebody would write a whole sort of like architecture specification document. But in agile projects, we're making architectural decisions all the time, and it's more fluid. And ADRs give you a way to still like reflect the decisions that you're making about the architecture through the course of the project. And what you do is you commit into source control these little documents that describe the architectural decisions you're making and the context in which you're making them. And our decision to switch from Probot to GitHub Actions is an architectural decision in the context of this project. And an ADR would have been a thing that we could have written this week to describe like why we were doing that decision and what the consequences of it were. But winding back in time, when we originally decided to use Probot, if we'd have gone the formality of writing an ADR at the time then, and it's not like a big deal, you know, it's the sort of thing that might take you half an hour to write or something, 20 minutes. If we'd have done an ADR at the time back then, it might have made us realize as we were writing it, whoa, hold on a minute, do we really want to be this committed to this decision right now? Because, you know, writing, like anything, writing it down makes you think about it a little bit.
Something that I'm also thinking of that we actually did during this session was Blaise identified that we are too specific, we're not abstract enough, and that might help to get away from the bot, but saying like we want something a little bit more unspecific. I don't know how practical that is in real life though.
Comes with practice, I suppose.
It's very similar to this card here as well, about being coupled with the solution rather than in the problem domain. I actually think our language is pretty good, but yeah, we did make that assumption about using a bot.
And I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't mean to. I just thought this is a perfect example to see what could we have done something better, because as you say, it is something natural, and I think it happens to everybody like more than what it doesn't happen. I think this is very normal to happen. So to me, it's a curiosity question. So I'm sorry if.
Oh no, it's no offense, Kate.
You thought it's.
You know, that with that, what's that maxim we have about not being efficient, but learning? Like this is, you know, bumping into making mistakes is kind of, we have to be comfortable with it. That's all. I sort of heard an implication from the question that we should have been more efficient and shouldn't have done that. But I hear now that you that's not what you meant.
So I phrased it incorrectly. I should have phrased it differently, maybe. But anyway.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say on this question.
Or are there any specific things that we thought of that we need to do in preparation for next week? I've added one to sort out my environment.
Yeah, if you want to make some time to do that together, Kate, we can pair up and do that if you want.
Thank you.
But yeah, next Friday I'm going to be on the road, so I won't be able to be available at this time.
So Blaise, I need to
sort out the Twitch streaming, because I didn't manage to make that work right through the session.
I don't know that we need to do. Well, if we're going to do the switch, if we're going to do the Twitch, then we might need to get credentials or something. If we're going to do the Twitch at the same time. Oh, I suppose what we want to do is investigate whether we can upload this recording to the Twitch space.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely upload it to YouTube, because what I always do at the end of every week is I
Oh, YouTube.
I save the recording and upload the recording to YouTube because Twitch only keeps recordings for a month or 6 weeks or something.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't have commit privileges, I don't think, on this particular repo.
No.
But I don't necessarily need them. I mean, Kate does, right? So.
I do.
Oh.
I actually don't know whether any of you do. So
I
let's
hope
put that
not.
put that in as a I don't does that go as a now action? I can definitely make sure that you will do.
Yeah.
And
Maybe.
can I just say that we actually lived our values today of safety over, even if it's uncomfortable. So
Yes.
that's great, I think.
What was an example of that, Kate?
Sorry?
What was an example of that?
When you said you reject the question, to me, that's awesome that you could do that. And like,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, I hope it didn't make you too uncomfortable. I didn't mean to criticize your retrospective.
No, not at all. I am not afraid of criticism. And to me, I would rather hear that you are rejecting that question, because then next time I won't phrase it that way, or I won't do it that way, or I need to now figure out how can I do it better, and maybe you can give me some advice.
To be honest, I really like different retrospective formats. I just love like seeing other people's ideas for them. So it's great, and it's good to try and like think about framing this as quite a quick retro as well. So it's just like one question to answer is a good idea, I think.
Yeah, I find if it's just the same every time, then later on you get into a rut where you just come up with the same things over again, and then it's just a waste of time. So I like to mix it up, but yeah, thanks. So next week we will continue, and I hope you feel better.
Yeah, man.
And thank you for being here, even if you're sick.
Well, I'm not too sick anymore. Thanks though, everyone. Yeah. I definitely did feel a bit less sharp than usual, but it was fun.
You didn't seem less sharp than usual.
Good.
Yeah, really.
Does anybody
didn't notice a thing?
Does anybody want to? I'm not sure what that says about my usual performance each week. Does anybody want to volunteer to try and set up the Twitch stuff, and I can share the credentials with them?
Well, I have a Twitch account.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if that's...
I don't.
I do have a Twitch account. I don't know if that's if that helps. Let me log in and see if I'm a member of the Twitch. Let's see the Twitch.
I had OBS. I don't have it anymore, but I guess the Twitch person is the one that will need OBS.
Yep, I've got OBS.
Okay, that looks beautiful.
Oh, that's finished.
Yeah, I must admit, I still can't get it to work. It just keeps coming up with this not found error. So I'm going to have to deal with that. That needs to go on the retro actions as well. Oh, it has already, hasn't it? Yeah, I'll have to deal with that. All right. So, shall I stop the recording? Are we good? Did we retrospect sufficiently?
I think so.
Thanks a lot, Kate, for organising that again, the retro.
Pleasure, and thank you for hosting, and good to see all the familiar faces.
Yeah, it's really very nice. Thank you.
Yes, we can make this a regular thing.
Yeah, and if you have questions, or if there's anything I can do between now and next week to sort of tee you up for next week, think about that.
Well, we could certainly do it if you want to do I don't know, Kate, if you want to set up and do like a practice run between now and then, just with a generic, Twitch session and, just all the moving parts. We can like, I don't know, do a Zoom, OBS, and Twitch. I can act as the as the OBS and the Twitch console or whatever terminal.
Cool. And I'm comfortable with the rest.
And then
I'm
we
so
can check your
excited.
VS Code
This is
settings
taking
as
on a
well.
life of its own. This is wonderful. Right, I'm going to stop the recording.